Welcome to Galactic Secrets, the channel where we uncover the deepest mysteries of our universe, one secret at a time. From UFOs to lost civilizations, classified experiments to ancient alien theories, we go where few dare to look. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear may challenge everything you think you know about our government and the unknown visitors in our skies. We're honored to have you as part of our growing community of cosmic explorers. If you're fascinated by government secrets, alien encounters, and the great unknown, make sure to subscribe, ring that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends, your family, and fellow seekers of truth, because knowledge is best when shared. Your support helps us continue bringing these untold stories to light. Today, we open the classified files and peer into one of the most enigmatic and controversial government projects of the 20th century, Project Blue Book. Was it a genuine investigation into the UFO phenomenon, or a calculated effort to suppress the truth? What did the government know, and when did they know it? This is not just a story about flying saucers. This is about Cold War paranoia, technological mystery, political secrecy, and a nation grappling with the unknown. From secret air bases to congressional cover-ups, from alien bodies to radar blips, we're pulling back the curtain. This is the full, unfiltered story of Project Blue Book, told in greater depth than ever before. 1. Origins of government UFO investigations. Our journey begins in the turbulent years following World War II, a time of seismic global change. The atomic bomb had reshaped geopolitics, the Cold War was taking form, and military air superiority became a priority for global powers. Amid this climate of fear and technological innovation, something else appeared. Objects in the sky that defied explanation. In July 1947, a rancher discovered strange debris on his property near Roswell, New Mexico. The military at first claimed they had recovered a flying disc, before rapidly backtracking to say it was a weather balloon. But rumors persisted. Witnesses spoke of crash sites, strange materials, and even non-human bodies. Thus began the modern era of UFOs and public suspicion of government secrecy. In response to growing numbers of UFO sightings, Project Sign was launched in 1948 under the U.S. Air Force. The team concluded that some reports suggested an interplanetary origin, but this view was quickly suppressed and replaced with Project Grudge in 1949, which adopted a far more skeptical tone. Officials feared mass panic and wanted to quell speculation. It wasn't until 1952, after a series of dramatic sightings over Washington, D.C., that the Air Force launched a more ambitious initiative, Project Blue Book. This would become the most comprehensive public investigation into UFOs in American history. 2. Inside Project Blue Book. Structure, goals, and hidden agendas. Project Blue Book was headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, a site long rumored to house alien artifacts and recovered spacecraft. The project team included Air Force officers, radar technicians, and contracted scientists, although many researchers today believe the scientists had limited access to truly unexplained cases. The project's official goals were to determine if UFOs posed a threat to national security, to scientifically analyze UFO data, to explain sightings in conventional terms. On the surface, Blue Book was a logical extension of military intelligence, but internally its approach raised questions. Despite thousands of cases filed between 1952 and 1969, over 12,600 in total, many witnesses and insiders felt the project was designed not to explore the truth, but to explain it away. Cases were often closed with hasty conclusions, no matter how questionable. Swamp gas, Venus, weather balloons, temperature inversions. These became standard explanations, even for encounters involving multiple radar contacts, pilot sightings, or electromagnetic interference. More than 700 cases remained unexplained. Some, like those at military installations, involved multiple credible witnesses and photographic or radar evidence. The official line, however, was that UFOs were not real, and certainly not extraterrestrial. 3. Dr. J. Allen Hynek, the skeptic who became a believer. When astronomer Dr. J. Allen Hynek was first brought into the project, he saw it as an opportunity to apply rigorous science to strange reports. Initially a staunch skeptic, he thought most sightings could be attributed to misidentified planets, aircraft, or weather phenomena. But as the years passed, Hynek encountered cases that resisted explanation. Pilots with years of flight experience reported impossible maneuvers by disc-shaped objects. Civilians and military personnel described glowing spheres that left radiation burns and disrupted electronics. Radar operators tracked targets performing hypersonic speeds with no sonic boom. Hynek devised a classification system still used today: close encounters of the first kind, visual sightings of an unidentified flying object. Second kind, a UFO event with physical effects, scorched vegetation, stalled vehicles, radio interference. Third kind, encounters involving occupants or entities. Hynek eventually criticized Blue Book as a PR stunt. He left to found the Center for UFO Studies, becoming one of the foremost voices demanding open scientific inquiry into the phenomenon. 4. Major cases investigated by Project Blue. Book's several landmark incidents made it clear that some UFO sightings were more than just lights in the sky. 1952, Washington, D.C., sightings. Over several nights in July, radar operators at Washington National Airport tracked unknown targets performing erratic movements. Visual confirmation came from airline pilots and tower staff. Jet fighters were scrambled, but the objects vanished. The event triggered a nationwide media frenzy and forced President Truman to demand answers. The Lubbock Lights, 1951. Dozens of Texas Tech professors and students witnessed V-shaped formations of bluish-white lights. Photographs were taken, and despite official dismissal, the consistency of the reports remains compelling. The Mantell Incident, 1948. Air National Guard pilot Thomas Mantell died while chasing a UFO, officially blamed on Venus. The incident remains mysterious. Witnesses described a metallic object that hovered before ascending rapidly. The Leveland Encounters, 1957. In rural Texas, multiple motorists reported that their vehicles lost power when a glowing craft approached. Engines restarted once the object departed. Blue Book sent an investigator, but officially attributed the events to ball lightning, despite the dry, storm-free conditions. The RB-47 radar case, 1957. A U.S. reconnaissance aircraft detected a UFO on both radar and visual during a flight over the Gulf Coast. The object followed the plane for over an hour, appearing on multiple instruments. No conventional explanation was ever offered. 5. Government control of the narrative. The Robertson Panel and Media Strategy. In 1953, the CIA convened a group of scientists known as the Robertson Panel. They concluded that UFOs, regardless of their origin, could be used to overwhelm radar systems or manipulate public opinion. Their solution: discredit the phenomenon. Through media infiltration, classroom education, and ridicule, the government aimed to debunk UFOs and reduce public interest. The goal was not to investigate, but to control the narrative. From this point on, Project Blue Book's credibility eroded. Investigators were given limited resources and discouraged from entertaining outlandish explanations, no matter the evidence. 6. Whistleblowers, suppression, and secrets. Within the Air Force and intelligence community, discontent simmered. Some officers believed Project Blue Book had become a charade, one that downplayed credible encounters and buried data. Declassified documents and whistleblower testimony later confirmed that certain reports were removed from public Blue Book files and reclassified. Some cases involving nuclear sites were suppressed. Investigators were pressured to close cases with dismissive conclusions. One former officer stated bluntly, "The mission wasn't to explain UFOs, it was to explain them away." 7. The Condon Report and the End of Blue Book. In 1966, following public pressure, the Air Force commissioned the University of Colorado to review Blue Book under physicist Dr. Edward Condon. The result, the infamous Condon Report, claimed there was no scientific value in further UFO research. Based on its recommendations, Project Blue Book was shut down in 1969. Officially, the U.S. government ceased all public investigations of UFOs. But many researchers believe the program simply went dark, continuing under different names and deeper levels of classification. 8. What the declassified files really show: the Freedom of Information Act later pried open thousands of Blue Book files. Among the revelations, regular sightings over nuclear weapons facilities, physical evidence of burned soil and radiation traces, pilot and astronaut reports, often suppressed at the time, interactions with craft showing intelligent control and advanced propulsion. Though heavily redacted, these files suggest a persistent global phenomenon that the public was not allowed to understand. 9. The enduring legacy of Project Blue Book today, Project Blue Book remains a symbol of curiosity, obfuscation, and the complicated relationship between truth and authority. It laid the foundation for public distrust in government narratives and opened the door for modern disclosure. It inspired media from the X-Files to History Channel dramas. But more importantly, it helped shape a movement, one that demands answers, transparency, and scientific integrity. In recent years, new government programs like the Pentagon's UAP Task Force and AARO have brought the conversation back into the spotlight. Congressional hearings and military whistleblowers are now publicly discussing what Blue Book first touched upon: that something is out there, and it may not be ours. Conclusion: Project Blue Book wasn't just a Cold War footnote, it was a lens through which we glimpsed a much larger mystery. Whether it was a genuine attempt to understand the unknown or a masterclass in information control, its legacy endures. As we continue to gaze skyward and ask the ultimate question, are we alone? The story of Project Blue Book reminds us that the search for truth must never be silenced. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of history's most intriguing investigations. Subscribe to Galactic Secrets for more documentaries that illuminate the hidden chapters of human and cosmic history. Share this video with fellow truth seekers. And remember, stay curious, keep questioning, and always keep your eyes on the skies.